Perfect.
What's up, guys? Josh from Strength Side. This is episode 6 of the Strength Side YouTube podcast. So this morning, walked to the coffee shop right around the corner from my house. Verve Coffee Roasters, delicious, had a cappuccino. Also did a little journaling. So I try to journal almost every single morning. And sometimes I'm filling up pages in a standard size notebook, but like this morning, actually, dope notebook. Chrissy got me with some mushrooms on it. But like this morning, just brought my little guy along, and I really liked just like this morning I wrote maybe 4 sentences, like a paragraph, right? The first sentence I just started out with a lyric that I had in my head, right? So, not putting pressure on myself to write a whole lot, but just getting into the habit of writing frequently. Every single morning, just jotting down some thoughts in my head, some ideas, whatever is going on. Sometimes affirmations, like, yo, I am a fucking warrior, stuff like that. So, another thing, reading Essentialism right now by Greg McKeown. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly. Really enjoying it. And on to the podcast. This is a conversation that I had with my buddy Kellen from Movement Parallels Life. That's his YouTube channel. I'm going to link it in the description. And the video that you're going to see is some training clips as usual. But it's actually me doing one of Kellen's Primal Flow follow-along videos. So he has some great follow-alongs. There's a lot of great content over there. A lot of movement, natural movement stuff. So you guys that are interested in the movement stuff that I'm putting out, go check his stuff out. Guarantee you will like it. I think that's it, man. Let's dive into this chat. I think a good place to start was I was reading one of your emails recently, and it was we were talking about the whole primal movements, and I think you were kind of addressing like what like what primal means or what it doesn't mean or what it doesn't have to mean, right? Because I think a lot of people are taking it and they're wondering like well, why are you saying primal? And like these are just words that we're all using, right? Natural, primal, even words like movement, mobility. It's just the language that we have to use because we have limited language. But yeah, do you want to talk about that? Because I thought what you said was a nice point.
Yeah, I guess that started when I put some videos up, and I've played around with different language over the time I've been producing YouTube videos, and at some point it is just a vehicle to getting someone's attention and maybe exposing them to something new. So yeah, I'm down for whatever is going to effectively do that. And put out some of these videos, and there was just so many comments coming in about the primal word just really triggered some people. And it's just like, whoa, wait a minute here. Like, it's not even it. This word is just really tripping people up, and it's really, it's not that big of a deal. We can call it whatever. And I think for me, at the end of the day, movement is a really personal experience for people, and it's your practice is going to mirror your personality and your values and what you're about. So we're not all going to move the same way. So these terms that we're using, like primal, are just very broad. And I just want to keep hitting home the point for people to not get distracted by that or not making assumptions about what that means, because there is so much that's floating around in the movement space with animal movements and different fighting styles, and and different martial arts, and these movements look like these different martial arts and this and that. And yeah, and it's like, yes, you're right. It does look like capoeira. It does look like yoga. It does look like this, that, and the other thing. And I guess at the end of the day, movement it's a language. It's broad. It's versatile. It's gonna show up in different expressions in different places. And yeah, I think as soon as people can start letting go of this idea that certain movements belong to certain disciplines, then you can really open up to the interconnection that exists between all these different movement practices and all these different cool ways that we can explore how to move our body.
Absolutely. Yes, that's you put it so elegantly there. I think that there's not really a lot of new stuff that we can that we can do, right? We're human beings. We've been on the planet for a long time now, and some people have moved their bodies out of necessity. Some people have moved their bodies out of creativity. But there's only so much that we can do,
and whether
it's all been done, right? So whether it looks like yoga or martial arts, you can take that and you can put it into your practice and you can make it your own, right? And that's the cool thing is you don't have to do this certain style of movement like the BJJ practitioner does it, right? You can do the same thing, but you can do it in your own style and you can make it your own. And I think that's what's super powerful about just taking this kind of more movement perspective in general.
Yeah, man, absolutely. It's all been done, and yes, things evolve and humans continue to push the envelope on things, but I that's not really what we're talking about and jamming on so much. It's just exploring what movement means to you and learning some stuff about yourself and the way you want to live your life along the way. And that's what that is what's so cool about all this. And the rest is just becomes a distraction, right? So yeah, I had a point and I totally lost it, but it'll come back to me. But,
hey, the points don't always need to be made, right? It's just right. I think what you're saying is spot on, and it actually makes me think of something. I had this moment over the weekend. I was at an ecstatic dance.
Nice.
Yeah, have you done one of those?
I haven't yet, but I've heard a lot about it, and I think it would be my jam.
Yeah, I think you'd completely enjoy it. And for anyone that doesn't know what that is, it's essentially just going to maybe a club setting during the day, but there's a DJ and you're just encouraged to move or dance however you feel, right? Express yourself, and there's no judgments or anything, and it's really cool. There's a really great energy in it. And there was a moment where, music's playing and I was kind of just expressing myself through different movements, disciplines that I've, had the opportunity to learn from. So maybe I'm on the floor moving like an animal, and then I'm rolling around on the ground like maybe dance or BJJ, and then I'm up doing more capoeira style movements. And it made me feel really fascinated that we have the opportunity to explore all these realms of movement. And it also made me feel really grateful for everyone that's taught me and showed me how I can move my body. And I think when you're able to kind of start doing that, when you get deeper into your practice, it really takes you out of your mind. It lets you drop the ego a little bit, and you're simply just in your body, and you're kind of expressing and moving. And yeah, it changes the way that you're kind of existing, I think.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
To be around that in a group atmosphere too, while everybody is kind of on their own thing and expressing themselves, but it's in a positive safe environment. I think there's a lot of potential for growth in that. I think just by pure virtue of the fact that we don't have many spaces like that in our everyday lives. There's always an agenda or a context that underpins, you know, our daily interactions. You know, you're going to work or you're playing a role in your life, but we're all, you know, there's so much to each and every person, and it's just cool to be able to explore some of that through movement.
Yes, definitely. Yes. And yeah, and I think the reason I was kind of um, thinking about this when chatting with you is because like um, your YouTube channel in general is like offering people this different way to explore their bodies and in turn kind of like change the way that they're living their life a little bit. You know what I mean? And I think that is just like it's crazy, man. It's like really, really trips me out when I really think about it that you can hop on YouTube for free and you can
Right.
learn, right? And you can learn like this new way to exist in the world, basically. It's really cool and it's really like inspiring to me. And you've been doing this for a long time. So I guess I'm wondering, um, like, what what inspires you to keep sharing that and what are you excited about right now when it comes to your movement practice?
Um, as far as inspiration goes, it's we just touched on this a little while ago, but before we hopped on the call, but it's just knowing that there are people out there that are looking for this material and are looking for um, a different way to express themselves with movement, a different approach to fitness, and just knowing that we do have all this opportunity to connect and share information now. And you know what, my point earlier that I found it. I was going to say that like everything, all the things that I teach now have essentially they've been stolen, and they've been influenced and taken from not just one source, but so many different sources. And I've had, the space to practice and to understand this stuff on my own terms. And that's what I share now. And it's not some completely unique creation, but it's unique in the sense that it's got my personality in it, my stamp, my findings, and my experience behind it. And I share that with people so they can steal and they can take whatever they need from it and apply it to their practice. And the more I teach, the more I share, the more that gets out in the world, but it helps me grow too. I gain so much from organizing my practice and answering questions, making these videos. So much of my growth comes from sharing. So whenever I talk to new coaches or trainers, I'm always encouraging them to make content or reach out to people and share what you know, because that just solidifies your own learning like nothing else.
Mm. Yeah, it is
And as
interesting. Like the time that we live in now is, you have this opportunity to really just to share, no matter what part of the journey you're on. I think in the past, before the internet, you would only be sharing if you were, an advanced practitioner or a master that people are coming to learn from. But now with the internet, you can be like, hey, this is where I'm at on my journey, and you're going to be ahead of someone, right? And I think that you do learn. I mean, I've learned incredible amounts from sharing and also making mistakes and failing, and but keeping that sharing at the forefront, really, like it's different. It's a different experience, and it helps kind of realize everything that you're doing, I think.
Yeah, definitely, man. It's for me, it's so important to teach, but also like just continue to stay open to learning and figure out how you can be a student even in the role of being a teacher. And understanding that it's not about, putting anyone in the box or telling them like this is the specific way to do things or this is the only way, but it's just me sharing. And I think that's something that we have in common, is just that very open approach of like, this isn't the last word on the subject of movement, but this is what works for us. This is what we're exploring right now. And, we want to open up and share it.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. I think that's so important to keep things open, and to, like you were mentioning, is all you can really do is take some material and really go into it and make it yours, and put your unique spin on it or whatever. But keeping that mindset open of like, just because this one thing helped me, it doesn't mean that it's like the end all thing that's going to make everyone's life better, right? You can offer it up as something that has helped, but it's in a large frame of of a lot else, I guess.
Yeah, man. Yeah. And that's what we've talked about in terms of just like, connect with your tribe, connect with people that are on a similar journey, and share. Like, you can't relate to or help everybody, but you can really maximize your impact and your touch if you are sharing from your authentic experience. And that's just it's cool to be able to explore different ways to do that.
Guys, that's the podcast. If you enjoyed it, go ahead and smash that like button. This is about half of our convo. If you're enjoying it and you want to hear the second half in a later podcast, comment below. Let me know. Subscribe to Strength Side. Check out Movement Parallels Life. It'll be the first link in the description. As always,